Have you ever noticed how some people seem to glide into their 70s and 80s with a kind of quiet strength, while others feel like their bodies started slowing down long before they were ready? It is one of the most common concerns people share with their doctors after 50. They say things like, "I just do not move the way I used to," or "My legs get tired so quickly now." What is fascinating is that in Japan, especially in regions with long life expectancy, doctors hear these concerns far less often. Many Japanese adults remain mobile well past 80, still carrying groceries, gardening, and walking to local markets the way they always have. Their secret is not luck or perfect genetics. It is the daily habits they repeat with almost ritual consistency. Habits that doctors in Japan regularly encourage because they help protect mobility, independence, and muscle strength as people age. There is a specific checklist many Japanese doctors quietly emphasize in their routine visits with older adults. It is simple, grounded in research, and based on how the musculoskeletal system changes with age. Today, we are going to walk through the first parts of that checklist together so you can start using the same mobility habits that help Japanese seniors stay strong, steady, and capable far into their later years. Everything begins with a simple idea, one that sounds almost too basic to matter, but ends up being the foundation for everything else: daily leg strength stimulus. Japanese doctors talk about this often because research shows that after age 50, people lose muscle at a faster rate, especially in the thighs and hips. These are the very muscles needed for balance, climbing stairs, rising from a chair, and maintaining independence. In Japan, physicians emphasize a daily habit of intentional leg activation. It does not have to be intense. It does not require a gym membership. For many older adults in Japan, this looks like walking to the store instead of driving, standing up and sitting down several times when they first get out of bed, or using the traditional Japanese style of getting up from floor level, which naturally trains the quadriceps and hip muscles. Science backs this up strongly. Studies show that even brief periods of daily leg movements can stimulate muscle protein synthesis, which is the process the body uses to preserve and rebuild muscle. The key is consistency. The reason this works so well in Japan is because movement is woven into their routines. The act of getting up from lower seating positions, walking frequently throughout the day, and using stairs is not seen as exercise. It is seen as daily life. This steady stream of low to moderate effort keeps the legs from weakening. When you do small but frequent movements, your muscles never completely shut down, and that helps slow the natural decline in muscle mass. Imagine adding something like this into your own mornings. You wake up, let your feet touch the floor, and instead of slowly easing into the day, you practice standing up and sitting down 5 or 6 times with control. You are not doing it to work out. You are doing it to wake up the muscles that carry you through the entire day. That small habit sends a signal to your brain and body that these muscles are still needed. Over time, this helps with steadiness, balance, and overall mobility. Doctors in Japan encourage these small daily movements because they are easy to maintain and have a powerful effect on long-term strength. Another key part of the daily checklist focuses on joint lubrication through gentle morning movement. As people age, synovial fluid, which lubricates the joints, tends to thicken slightly or become less efficiently produced. That can lead to stiffness when you get out of bed or after sitting for long periods. Japanese physicians teach older adults that the first few minutes of the morning can transform how their joints feel for the rest of the day. Simple ankle circles, slow hip rotations, or a brief walk around the home helps warm the joints and increase circulation. The science behind this is straightforward. When you move, even gently, the cartilage in your joints absorbs more synovial fluid, which reduces friction and improves range of motion. You will often see older adults in Japan standing at their front door, moving their ankles or knees before they begin their day. Some participate in a morning practice called radio taiso, a simple sequence of movements broadcast nationally for decades. Doctors encourage this because it increases blood flow to the muscles and joints without straining the body. Just a few minutes of gentle motion can prevent that heavy, stiff feeling so many people experience as they get older. Something that might surprise you is how strongly Japanese physicians emphasize balance stimulation as part of everyday life. As we age, the systems that help us stay upright, including the inner ear, the eyes, and the sensory nerves in the feet, become less sensitive. Without regular training, balance begins to fade. Doctors want their older patients to expose themselves to small balance challenges daily. This does not mean standing on one foot for long periods. It is often as simple as walking on slightly uneven ground, turning the head side to side while walking, or practicing slow directional changes. There is a strong scientific foundation behind this. Research shows that balance is one of the most use it or lose it abilities in the human body. When the brain is not challenged to maintain equilibrium, the pathways responsible for balance weaken quickly. That is why falls become more common after 60. Japanese seniors who walk on narrow stone paths, step up and down small curbs, or navigate gently uneven garden areas are naturally stimulating their balance systems every day. Their environment gives them constant micro-challenges, and these small challenges add up over the years. You can bring this same idea into your daily life without any special equipment. When you walk from one room to another, turn your head gently from side to side. When you are brushing your teeth, try standing with your feet a little closer together. When you are in the kitchen, shift your weight slightly from one leg to the other. These small moments of activation are enough to keep your balance systems awake and responsive. Doctors in Japan encourage this because they know that maintaining balance is one of the strongest predictors of long-term independence. Now that we have laid the foundation with these essential daily habits, it becomes easier to understand how the rest of the checklist builds on these ideas and supports strength, flexibility, and mobility in a way that feels natural and achievable for anyone over 50. As the day goes on, another part of this daily checklist becomes especially important. Doctors in Japan often remind their older patients that movement is not only about the legs and joints. The hips and lower spine are at the center of almost every motion the body makes. When these areas lose flexibility or become stiff from long periods of sitting, mobility begins to decline more quickly. That is why gentle hip flexibility work is encouraged as a daily practice, not an occasional stretch. The goal is to maintain the natural range of motion that allows someone to walk comfortably, step over obstacles, and turn the body with ease. There is compelling research behind this. Studies show that decreased hip flexibility significantly increases the risk of falls and changes the way people walk, often leading to shorter steps and slower stride speed. Japanese physicians understand that once the hips stiffen, the rest of the body must compensate. This can cause discomfort in the knees or lower back. To prevent this, older adults are encouraged to include small moments of hip mobility throughout the day. Something as simple as gently lifting the knee while standing next to a counter, or shifting the hips side to side while waiting for tea to warm, keeps the hip joint from tightening. Many older adults in Japan naturally practice this because of lifestyle habits tied to sitting and moving through smaller spaces. For instance, even stepping onto traditional tatami mats requires a slightly different hip angle compared to walking solely on firm floors. These small variations work to protect flexibility over time. You do not need tatami mats to recreate this effect. Simply stepping side to side slowly in your living room, or performing a gentle hip rotation while standing behind a sturdy chair, can provide similar benefits. What matters most is that the hip joint is encouraged to move in a way that keeps the tissues around it supple and responsive. A second part of the checklist focuses on the connection between posture and mobility. Japanese doctors speak about this often because posture changes as people age. Muscles in the upper back and core weaken, causing the body to lean forward. This shift may seem small, but over time it changes how the legs carry weight and can make walking feel more tiring. When posture collapses even slightly, the lungs do not expand as efficiently, which reduces oxygen intake and lowers energy levels. This is one reason many people past 60 say they feel winded more easily. The Japanese approach to posture is simple and deeply rooted in daily life. Instead of thinking about holding the body perfectly upright, The focus is on gentle awareness and small moments of correction throughout the day. Japanese doctors encourage what they call posture refreshers, which involve lifting the chest slightly, drawing the shoulders back, or elongating the spine as if creating space between each vertebra. These adjustments are subtle but powerful. They help distribute weight more evenly through the legs and reduce strain on the lower back. There is strong scientific evidence supporting this. Research shows that better posture improves gait stability, increases walking speed, and helps maintain balance. It even improves circulation to the muscles of the lower body. Many Japanese seniors are able to maintain an upright, steady posture not because they are trying to look younger, but because these small posture refreshers prevent the slow collapse that often leads to mobility problems. You can practice the same thing by taking a moment when you stand up or begin walking to gently lengthen your spine. Over time, this habit becomes automatic and helps protect your mobility in a very real way. A third part of the checklist that doctors emphasize ties directly into muscle preservation, and it involves a surprising but very practical idea. They encourage older adults to include just a bit of exertion during the day. Not exhaustion, not high-intensity training, but a short burst of effort that reminds the body that strength is still required. This small challenge activates fast-twitch muscle fibers, which are the fibers most responsible for power, stability, and preventing falls. Without regular stimulation, these fibers decline rapidly after age 50. In Japan, this often shows up as quick stair climbing, carrying small grocery bags, or rising from a seated position with slightly more intention than usual. These tiny moments of effort are not formal workouts. They are woven into everyday tasks. A senior might take the stairs at a train station instead of the escalator if they feel steady that day. Or they might pick up a basket of vegetables at home rather than sliding it across a counter. Japanese physicians support these habits because they mimic what researchers call functional exertion, which helps maintain the muscles that respond quickly during slips or sudden changes in movement. What makes this so effective is that you can apply it in your own home without needing special equipment. You might hold onto a counter and perform 1 or 2 slow but strong rises onto your toes. You might lift a grocery bag with mindful control when unloading it. Even standing up from a chair without using your hands once or twice a day triggers valuable muscle activation. These short bursts help the body remember how to respond with strength. The benefit compounds over time and can significantly support your mobility after 60 or 70. Another element that Japanese doctors encourage involves sensory nourishment, specifically sunlight exposure and natural outdoor cues. This may seem unrelated to mobility at first, but research shows that vitamin D levels play an essential role in muscle function and balance. Low vitamin D is linked to muscle weakness, slower reflexes, and increased fall risk. Japan has a culture that naturally includes time outdoors, whether walking to local markets, tending small gardens, or simply stepping onto a porch in the morning light. Doctors encourage this because even 10 to 15 minutes of gentle sunlight helps maintain vitamin D levels, which in turn supports muscle strength and coordination. Beyond vitamin D, outdoor environments provide subtle visual and physical input that helps maintain balance. Looking at shifting light, navigating different surfaces, and sensing small breezes all stimulate the parts of the brain involved in stability. These micro-adjustments are incredibly valuable as people age. Doctors in Japan often remind their older patients that going outside is not just good for the mood. It is a direct investment in long-term mobility. Being outdoors helps keep the reflexes sharp and the balance system engaged. It can be as simple as standing on your porch for a moment or taking a brief walk to your mailbox. Even looking up at the sky or observing nearby trees offers a type of sensory stimulation that screens and indoor lighting cannot provide. These small experiences help maintain the strength of the mind-body connection that supports steadiness and confidence when walking. These practices form a natural extension of the earlier habits and bring you deeper into the daily rhythm that keeps Japanese seniors mobile and engaged well into their later years. As these habits blend into daily life, another essential part of the checklist comes into focus: one that Japanese doctors speak about with a calm seriousness because of how deeply it influences long-term mobility. It is the relationship between breath, movement, and nervous system balance. In Japan, older adults are often taught that the way they breathe affects how steadily they move. When breathing becomes shallow or rushed, the nervous system shifts into a more reactive state. Muscles become tense, coordination diminishes, and balance suffers. However, when breath is calm and controlled, the body moves with far greater stability and precision. The science behind this is compelling. Research shows that slow, controlled breathing improves oxygen delivery to the muscles and calms the parts of the brain that regulate balance. It also reduces unnecessary muscle tension, allowing the legs and core to do their jobs more efficiently. This is why simple breathing practices are encouraged as part of the daily routine, often paired with gentle stretching or standing movements. Something as subtle as exhaling slowly while taking a step or pausing for 2 deep breaths before standing up from a chair can create a noticeable improvement in steadiness. Japanese seniors often adopt this naturally through practices like mindful walking, where they breathe in rhythm with their steps. The purpose is not meditation. It is functional control. Doctors encourage it because regular, calm breathing improves walking speed, stride stability, and reduces the likelihood of missteps. You can begin practicing this by simply noticing your breath the next time you walk across a room. Let the breath slow down. Allow the shoulders to soften. Even this small awareness helps your body move with more confidence. Another meaningful part of the checklist focuses on nourishment in a very practical sense. Doctors in Japan frequently remind their older patients that mobility is not only built through movement, it is also maintained through muscle-friendly nutrition. After 50, the body becomes less efficient at using protein, which means the muscles need a steady supply of amino acids to stay strong. This is not about bodybuilding. It is about preserving the ability to walk, climb steps, and carry daily items without strain. Japanese dietary patterns naturally support this because meals often include fish, tofu, natto, eggs, and small portions of lean meats. These foods provide high-quality protein without overwhelming the digestive system. There is strong scientific evidence that older adults need slightly more protein per pound of body weight than younger adults in order to maintain muscle mass. Japanese doctors encourage their patients to distribute protein throughout the day, rather than consuming it all at once. This ensures that the muscles receive a steady stream of the building blocks they need to repair and regenerate. You can apply this idea by adding small sources of protein to the meals you already enjoy. A spoonful of yogurt with breakfast, an egg added to lunch, or a piece of fish at dinner can make a significant difference. The goal is not large portions, it is consistency. Regular protein intake helps maintain leg strength, which is one of the strongest predictors of long-term independence. Another part of the checklist is surprisingly overlooked in many places around the world, yet Japanese physicians emphasize it with great importance. Hydration plays a direct role in mobility. When the body is even slightly dehydrated, the muscles become less responsive, the joints feel stiffer, and balance becomes more difficult to maintain. Research shows that dehydration increases the risk of falls because it affects blood pressure, reaction time, and even the clarity of vision. Many older Japanese adults carry small water bottles with them throughout the day, not as a trend, but because their doctors encourage steady hydration to keep the muscles and nerves functioning smoothly. You do not need to drink large amounts at once. Even small, regular sips throughout the day protect the joints and help maintain circulation to the legs. Hydration also supports the cushioning effect in the spine and knees, which helps reduce discomfort during movement. These quiet, everyday practices add up. They are not dramatic, but they are deeply effective. One more part of the daily checklist brings everything together, and it is something Japanese doctors often encourage with gentle but persistent reminders. Social engagement matters, not simply for mood, but for mobility. When people interact with others, especially face-to-face, they tend to move more, walk more, and stay mentally sharper. The brain thrives on stimulation, and mobility is influenced by the brain just as much as by the muscles. There is extensive research showing that adults who maintain social connections are more likely to stay active and less likely to develop frailty. In Japan, older adults often meet in parks, participate in group activities, or walk together to local markets. These social routines keep them moving and prevent long periods of inactivity, which can gradually weaken the body. The act of preparing to leave home, stepping outside, and engaging with others creates natural movement patterns that protect mobility. You can bring this into your own life by finding small ways to connect. It might be a brief chat with a neighbor, a walk with a friend, or even attending a community event once in a while. These interactions do more than lift your spirits. They encourage you to move, and movement is the lifeline of mobility. All of these habits create a picture of aging that feels hopeful, grounded, and achievable. Japanese seniors stay mobile not because they push themselves relentlessly, but because they nurture their strength through small, consistent, and science-supported routines. Each one protects a different part of the body. The muscles stay active. The joints stay flexible. The balance system stays awake. The nervous system stays calm, and the body stays ready for the lifelong rhythm of movement. What matters now is recognizing that these habits are not reserved for a particular culture or location. They work because they align with how the human body is designed to age. You can begin adopting any of them today, even in the smallest way. Every gentle stretch, every moment of upright posture, every slow breath before standing, every sip of water, every step outside, and every meaningful interaction with someone in your life contributes to a stronger, steadier version of you. If you have ever doubted your ability to stay active or wondered whether change is still possible, let this be a quiet reminder that your body still responds to care. It still adapts. It still strengthens. Small changes practiced consistently can make a powerful difference in your mobility, energy, and independence. I would love to hear how these ideas resonate with you. Feel free to share your experiences or questions in the comments. Your journey can inspire someone else who might be feeling the same way. If you found this helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps this community grow and allows more people to discover practical ways to support their health. Here is to staying strong, steady, and full of life at any age.